Soy la rumba. Usted me conoce como el brillo de lentejuela y camisa guarachera. Pero no cambien de canal, porque yo no soy así. Soy la clave. Está de la madera contra madera. África, Congo, Carabalí. Soy el alma alegre de la nación. La rumba soy.
I've been coming to Cuba for years now, and it's one of the most culturally interesting places that I know. From the cha-cha-cha and mambo explosions of the mid-40s and 50s to reggaeton to the Buena Vista phenomenon of the 90s. When it comes to music, Cuba's always punched above its weight. And walking around Havana, you can hardly move for the stuff. There are musical treats waiting around every corner. On this latest trip, I literally just bumped into one of the last remaining original members of Buena Vista, Tete Cultura. She was rehearsing on her front porch. Think of Cuban music and you probably think of this. It's called son, and it's what made Buena Vista into a multi-platinum global phenomenon. But there's something underneath it, something less visible, slightly hidden under the surface. It's a musical blueprint. It's that hard-to-find record with the original sample, and I've come to do some musical excavation.
La rumba, para mí, es lo máximo, de verdad, porque esa es la base de la música nuestra cubana.
Son is the more kind of melodic, sort of top end of things, and kind of rumba is more kind of the heart and the muscle.
Es el árbol que empieza la raíz por tu lado.
Es la flor de todos los géneros.
La madre de la música cubana. O sea, la rumba es el primer género auténticamente cubano.
Essentially, it's drumming and singing and dancing, but it's so much more.
La rumba es mi vida. La rumba es mi vida, la rumba es mi vida.
Que es la manera de expresarme libremente como yo soy.
Porque uno al final tiene eso en la sangre, uno es cubano y uno es rumbero.
La rumba somos nosotros, cubanos. A mí me encanta. Yo siento un tambor y ya enseguida me empiezo a mover. Porque cuando arrancan esos tambores a tocar rumba y esa gente a cantarla, es impresionante.
This is the heavier, deeper side of Cuban music, and I've been intrigued by it for years. But I was going to need help to get to the roots of it. Luckily for me, my old mate Crispin Robinson, aka Daddy Spry, aka Ade Igum, is deep in the scene. And he was over in Havana ready to open a few doors. I've been told that if I want to find out about this music, I've got to head about 70 miles out of Havana to a town called Matanzas. It's a port town, famous for being one of the main landing points for slave ships in colonial times, and often referred to as the birthplace of rumba. Waiting for us at our first stop was Daime Arocena, a terrific young singer from Havana who I've been listening to for many years. She was going to come with us on this journey into rumba. The real reason we were there was to meet Diosdado Ramos Cruz, director of the most famous and well-respected rumba band in Cuba, Los Muñequitos de Matanzas.
Yo me enteré que tú andas diciendo que eres un palo, mi amigo Julián. Tú debes decir, si no fuera por papá, tú debes decir, si no fuera...
La rumba matancera es muy tranquila. En La Habana un poco más, con mucha belleza, pero es más adelante. Natacha se ha preocupado siempre por hacer la cosa más pausada, más tranquila, para que se vea las voces. La producción tiene que esperar.
Tú debes decir, si no fuera por papá, tú debes decir, si no fuera por papá.
Congo y Ambumba me llamo yo soy el terror. Yo soy el terror rumbero, pero yo soy el terror.
Congo y Ambumba me llamo yo soy el terror.
Primero el canto, después el toque y después llega el momento de donde vienen los bailarines, que entonces haya la rumba un poco más adelante, para que los bailarines puedan ejecutar.
Congo y Ambumba me llamo yo soy el terror.
Congo te está llamando, pero yo soy el terror.
Congo y Ambumba me llamo yo soy el terror.
Congo y Ambumba me llamo yo, pero yo soy el terror.
Congo y Ambumba me llamo yo soy el terror.
Yo soy malo ya, pero yo soy vencedor.
La mejor fortaleza de los africanos entraron por matar. Por aquí donde entraron más religiones de lo que es todos los elementos folclóricos en este país. La mejor fuerza entró por aquí por matar. Ahí donde está la verdad, lo que es la rumba.
Out of the horrors of Atlantic slavery have been born many beautiful things like jazz, like hip-hop, like soul music. There's so many amazing musics of the Americas and amazing expressions of the sort of the human spirit that have been born out of this sort of this forced migration of millions of people and the kind of like violent collisions that took place and sort of, you know, very unpleasant things that we all, you know, need to reckon with. But part of the honey of that pain is all this incredible music, you know, like rumba.
Rumba was born around the end of the 19th century in the docks of Matanzas and Havana, where many of the freed slaves found work. It became one of the most important influences in Cuban culture, but over the years it's been underappreciated and often misrepresented.
La rumba sí es muy folclórica, es muy arraigada a las raíces, es muy de pueblo, también es muy marginada, precisamente por todas esas cosas, porque es muy de pueblo, porque es muy humilde, porque es muy de las capas bajas, sociales bajas.
So that's one reason why it sort of stayed underground. It's never been considered worthy. It's never been considered worthwhile.
Despite its marginalisation, rumba has had a massive influence on music globally.
La rumba por ahí es igual que la mamá que empieza a crear hijos.
Todo viene de la rumba.
Rumba provided the engine for Latin music. Throughout the 20th century, worldwide explosions of Cuban music like cha-cha-cha and mambo through to salsa and son had one constant at their heart: the rumba conguicero and the clave that he plays to in his head. But the rumbero's influence went much further. From the 50s, conga players like Mongo Santamaria, Patato Valdez and Chano Pozo, who famously played in Dizzy Gillespie's band, went to the States and introduced them to a new approach to rhythm. The effect on the development of modern music can be felt in everything from modern jazz to funk to disco to house music. It's in pretty much every set I play. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Rumba is tradition, and back in Havana, the traditional place to see rumba is at Egrem Studios.
Y hoy por hoy hay una agrupación que es 100% de rumba, que se llama Rumbero de Cuba.
These guys have it all: the singers, the dancers, and the amazing drummers. Rumberos de Cuba are keeping up tradition.
Rumbero de Cuba siempre, a través de los años, a través de la trascendencia vieja, hizo rumba.
Para mí es muy importante que conservemos los patrones rítmicos fundamentales de la rumba y sobre eso recrear un poco, o sea, no vamos a hacerlo como en los años 50, La estamos haciendo una rumba tradicional, pero con pequeñas innovaciones, porque el lenguaje musical es como el lenguaje hablado, que va cambiando con el tiempo. Y entonces nosotros también somos artistas de este tiempo, somos músicos de este tiempo.
Rumba's more than just a beat. It's got elements: dancing, singing, roots, and drumming. And we'll be getting into all of that over the next 5 episodes. But at its core, rumba is just a good old party.